you?
Doing fantastic now. Had to rework my setup here a little bit, and tried to sneak out of work a little early for that. That's okay though. I guess when you're in charge of the office, you can do that sometimes. Alright, so for those of you jumping on Discord, welcome to Skills and Drills. It's our weekly Wednesday night fun time. I hope we have a big group today as we're getting ready to head into the Zwift racing season. And we're heading into the Zwift Team Worlds in November. It's a great time to capitalize on everybody's outdoor form, and now we need to get ready and get prepped for the Zwift side of it. We need to learn how to hold our position, hold our line, and when to attack on Zwift, which is a little bit different than in real life. So that's what we're going to mostly focus on today. There will be punishments handed out for those who are struggling and holding position. First we'll use praise, then we'll use negative reinforcement. And then at the end of today's class we'll do some attacking. Sorry, no shot collars, just attacking. During the ride today, please feel free to chime in with questions, comments, anecdotes based on your experience, things that you've seen. Everybody's input is welcome. You'll definitely have time to do that, as I'll have minutes of silence as I'm typing out what I've already spoken to you guys, so feel free to jump in. Alright, thanks Charles and Kurt for the likes. Alright, we got 5 of us in the pen right now. Imagine we'll get a whole lot more when we come into the 5-minute warning. We got about 12 minutes, so this is a great time for anyone to go ahead and hit the bathroom, do what you gotta do, get some tissues, crack open a beer, whatever you want to do while you're watching or riding. God dang it. Been riding for 25 minutes and I didn't have my computer on. Alrighty. So Jim, are you and Sue new to the ride?
Yes, we are.
Alright, fantastic. Well, welcome. Are you guys riding side by side?
Yeah, but she's usually a little bit ahead of me.
Nice. Well, you're gonna get a little attacking in today, so we can have a battle of the house. Well, this is if you haven't done it before, if you haven't seen it before, it's predominantly will be at 2 to 2.5 for the vast majority of the ride. We'll be focusing on positioning, so we'll be trying to maintain certain places inside the group. Our first 10 minutes is a warm-up, and in that warm-up time, we take the time to move around the group to practice what it takes to go to the front and go to the back. But we do that at like 1.5 max, in theory. We try to hold that. There's always some flyers who go up the front. We'll heckle and chide them, and then we just let them go. We don't chase. And then later on today in the ride, we'll do a few attacks where we can recognize where are good places to attack, where is the best position to attack from the peloton, things like that. So it should not be an overly exhausting ride. If you're a newer rider and your FTP is around that 2.5 area, I would recommend lowering your weight a little bit. The idea is not to drop people. The idea is to have all of us stay together so everyone can learn.
We'll give it a try.
Oh yeah, no worries. No worries. Like I said, we're not attacking. Well, till the end, but that's very scripted and very controlled. Hello, Seth.
Good evening.
Alright, I can take that off. Alrighty. So we got Mark on as well, Hugo, Frank, and Danimal is with us, nice. And CB7. Got a good sized group on Discord, hopefully we get a few more joining in.
How's the weather in the Dominican?
It's about 1,000% humidity. It's warm. I mean, it's high 80s, but super humid. So you walk outside and you sweat.
Hoping the weather we have right now lasts through next weekend, Coach.
Nice. Yeah, I've been seeing the cooler weather, but it looks like we're going to be low 80s by mid-afternoon. So starting off at like 68 or so, or 70. That's not bad.
Yeah, that'll work.
I've been purposely running inside, turning the AC off, and no fan on the treadmill. Nothing like artificially jacking up the heat in a room.
Yeah, that's a bit beyond the pale, I think.
Are you racing in Miami?
Yeah, we're gonna be in Miami, so I expect it to be a little cooler than here, but if I can suffer here, even better.
.76 degrees in the pool today.
Woo! Yeah, I hope that lake is wetsuit legal. That'll make things interesting. If not, I'll be fine with my swim skin.
Yeah, I'll bring both. We'll see what happens.
Yep. The only bad part is whatever I bring, I'm toting around for 3 weeks.
This a TDY combined with lead for you, or just lead?
Yeah, TDY combined with lead.
What branch are you in?
I'm in the Army.
We don't hold that against him, though.
No, I'm ex-Air Force.
Yeah, retired Navy here.
Just need a Marine, I guess.
There's no crayons on this thing. All right, so we got about 4 minutes to go. Like I mentioned much earlier, we're going to be doing 1.5 max from the start. So that should be only the people at the very front doing 1.5. Everybody else should be nicely in the draft. I will be sitting in the middle of the group. So you can use me as the middle, and the idea would be for you guys to move forward and back. Just practice moving around the peloton. That's actually pretty important because at the ease with which we'll be moving, I really want you to feel, what does it take to go from the front to the back? How much can you rest going from the back to the front? What's the difference between sitting on the back by sitting in the middle by sitting at the front? And that's really the base of our skill that we're going to be working on today. And I can tell you, the faster you're going as a group, the harder it is to move to the front. And how careful you have to be. No DS. If you fly off the front, we will heckle and mock you. I'm hoping at some point they give us the boot button, and that'll help get rid of flyers. All right, perfect. We got Mark Johnson watching us on the stream from up in Canada. I think it's like 40 degrees or so Fahrenheit up there, something like that. So still summer. Alright, I'm going to type out a little bit of today's class for the group, so I apologize for my silence. You guys can carry on a conversation if you'd like. Alright, so we got about 28 seconds. Let's remember 1.5 at the start. We have about 40 of us in the bunch right now, not too bad. Still for an early day, we might get some late joiners. For those of you guys who are new to Discord and new to the ride, this is not designed for just me to talk. Although I love hearing the sound of my own voice, I would gladly like to be interrupted and have other people participate. So at any time, feel free to jump on in with questions or anecdotes, anything like that. Or if you just have a funny comment to make, those are always appreciated. I will be asking periodically for volunteers from the group, and that'll be for assisting with some of our drills that we do. All right, so again, think of me as the middle of the bunch. Go ahead and practice moving from the front to the back. Spend time at all three positions in the peloton, the front, the back, and the middle. The important part really is to try and get a good feel of what does it take to move around in the bunch and what does it take to sit in a certain spot. And as accelerations naturally happen, what happens wherever you are? So like right now you can see some folks up in the front are naturally accelerating as they're trying to move to the front, and because they don't really have a good feel yet of holding their position, they will overshoot. Now, the easiest way to practice and keep from overshooting, and we're going to focus a lot on that today, is to go to view 3. So if you're watching the stream right now, I just went to the view that is my avatar's eyes. Oh, let me type something out. Okay, so one of the things we need to watch for is that, thanks William for the like, when we go and hit these 2%, little inclines, we want to really not accelerate. So the goal is really to maintain steady pace right now. So what you're going to think about is what we're doing today is that middle part of a race. That part of a race where the pace is fairly steady, there's not a lot of attacking going on, the groups are kind of solidified. So you want to be conserving your energy. You want to really be focused on holding a good position that's tactically advantageous, but yet not expending all of your energy. So if you're up at the very front, easy at the front still. We have one flyer up there. We're gonna not chase them right now. Can't see who they are because I'm pretty far back in the bunch. Let me make my way up to the front. Alright, looks like they're somewhat coming back. Alright, great. So, again, go to the front, slide back to the back. See how much you can actually recover and where you can stay in. So if you notice right now, if you're watching the stream, my avatar is right in the middle of the pack. I was doing 1.1 and staying with the group. When I pulled up to that 1.5, all of a sudden, I started overtaking people. Why? Because of the effects of aerodynamics. I'm able to pedal the same effort and go faster because I'm benefiting off the draft of my compatriots here. So let me ease back off and see we're all together still. That's fantastic. So right now, go ahead and really practice moving around. The best place to attack from is normally the front third of a group. So I'd like you guys to really take some effort and slide to the back, then slowly make your way to the front, and slide back again. Maybe push a little bit harder to get up to the front, but be careful not to overshoot the front. You always want to really be focused on not putting yourself on the front unless you are a designated worker bee. For some of us who do a lot of worker bee stuff, It's not that big of a deal. But if you were trying to go for the podium, take a win, if you're the team leader, you only go to the front when you're making your big move, when you're making your big attack, or when you just kind of want to punish somebody. But those have to be few and far between. All right, we got about just under 5 minutes left here. So what are you guys feeling right now? Are you seeing anything or noticing anything as you're trying to move around? Man, another quiet group.
I'm finding it's harder to back off the front of the group than it is to catch on to the end of it.
Great, so that's actually a great observation, Seth. Thanks for, and I did not prep Seth with that. One of the things that you'll really notice is that when you're doing this kind of ride or in a group, you're going to be sitting in and you can ease off a lot and not really get dropped real quick because you're getting sucked in by the draft. So we got some folks who are up at the front, need everyone to slow down.
I can definitely feel the benefit of the dead middle of the group before I get pushed out and feel it grab you.
Yeah, exactly. So one of the things too was just asked was we don't have directional control. That is true, and that is a problem when you're trying to maintain your position in the bunch. So that's why it's really, really important to have a good feel for how hard you're pedaling.
Hello, I'm just checking this out. First time here, first time on Discord.
Fantastic. Well, welcome. We're generally a nice group. Some people will get angry and cuss a lot as we get into the attacks or if they get punished. But generally, we're a nice group.
Well, that's nice to hear. I'll be a good boy too. Thanks.
Yeah, and all the vitriol is normally targeted at me, so don't worry.
Well, you must be doing a good job.
All right, we're looking all right. We're a little spread out. We got a couple people off the back. All right, we got some late joiners catching on. You can see they're slightly off the back. So we're going to ease it at the front just a little bit. Once they catch on, we'll get into the class. There we go. I kind of like that in the new map. In the new map, I can see where everybody is. So I can see when we're bunched up, and I can see when we're strung out or when people are flying off the front. Let's bring it back up to 1.5. Very nice sized group here. So what we're going to do, I'm going to explain to you guys, and I'm going to type it out. We're going to work on positioning. So I'm going to split you into two groups based on your last name. If your last name begins with the letters A through M, Alpha through Mike, then you're group 1. If your last name begins with the letters N through Z, or November through Z, because through Zeta, Zulu, excuse me, almost forgot myself. Then you will be in group 2. So we're going to practice being where I want you to be in your group 1 or 2. So it means if you're in group 1, I'll tell you to either be at the front or the back. So that means you need to stay above the midline or behind the midline. And likewise with group 2. If I catch a group 2 or a group 1 person way out of position, we'll politely tell them to get back to position first, and then we'll start doling out punishments. Punishments are a lot of fun if you like to sprint. So let me go ahead and type some of this out, and then we'll get into the class. All right, so I'm gonna be moving around the bunch. I'm gonna tell us what pace we're gonna set, and that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna vary the pace a little bit on you guys. That way you have practice really trying to hold it. We're obviously gonna get some variation as we come across terrain. So right now is a great time to take a quick drink of water before we get at it. All right, so let's go to a 2.0. Start adjusting your position. I want you guys to go ahead and move where you need to be. If you're group 1, you need to be in the front half. If you're group 2, you need to be in the back half. The idea is to keep it very tight though. You do not want to let it get too strung out. Getting too strung out is very difficult to maintain.
Kind of off front group here.
You're at the front of the group, Graham?
Nah, we're kind of losing the front of the group here.
Yeah, so
We got two groups going.
yeah, so we need to try and tighten it up. So if you're in group 2, you want to tighten it up on group 1. This is so you guys are actually demonstrating something I was going to talk about and show later on. When you're at the back of the bunch, yes, you can rest. Group 1's got to slow down. When you're at the back of the bunch, yes, you can rest. The problem that you have is if a gap opens up somewhere in the middle, pretty soon you find yourself 5 seconds back. .5 at the front. We're going to do a quick reset. Group 2 is having to drill it to get back on. We want to try and let Tatil catch up.
Hell, group 1's trying to catch group 0.
Who's at the front drilling it?
That's hilarious.
Who's in the front drilling it? So we are doing a bridging exercise here. Want to nice and ease it off. All right, we're getting back together now. That's what I like to see. Very good job. All right, let's let everyone catch their breath. Let's hold this right here. Go ahead and get yourself in the right position. right, good. Let's get we got a couple folks catching up still. So let's go ahead and get that group 1, group 2 separation where we're supposed to be.
So maybe this is a silly question, but how do I tell if I'm in the front half or the back half?
Well, that is not a silly question. That is very difficult to ascertain. Unless you're looking at where your avatar is on the screen, and you're looking at the group of riders nearby you, that's really the best way to do it. We have about 42 or 43 people. So if there's about 20 people in front of you, then you're closer to the back half. Easy going into the hills. Remember, everyone can see what we're doing. Downshift if need be. Okay. So we're already seeing how difficult it is to hold position. And we're just barely getting into this, and we're not pushing the pace. So as terrain dictates sometimes how fast we're going or how much we're pushing because we're not paying attention, then that's going to create those gaps. So we got another big gap that opened up.
I've noticed this on a lot of rides, but it's really challenging to restrain yourself on those hills.
It is. That's what we're trying to practice here. Because every time you do that, especially if you're going at a harder pace, all of a sudden you're not burning a match. There's no reason for that. You're not gaining anything. Oh, Hallstrom, you gotta... Yeah, I got you coming through your microphone. Hallstrom, we got you coming through your microphone still. Still got you. We got your trainer. I'm gonna have to mute you real quick. All right. There goes that. Alrighty. It looks like we're back together more or less. Let's try and get our 2.0 going, and let's try and keep our groups. We're gonna do this for about another 2 minutes, and we're gonna switch up positions.
Somebody's trainer needs some oil.
Alrighty. Alright, we are more or less doing a good job of staying together. So we got looking to the rear, good. Alright. We're 2 and 3 abreast, which is much better than being strung out. I'm going to move forward a little bit. Good job, Frank. I am the Sage Man. I'm not sure which name you're using, but okay.
By the way, who was that was making all the noise? Because while you have muted him, he's still coming through to the rest of us.
Hallstrom? Okay, I'll server mute him. Hold on. There, is that better?
Way better, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank God.
Alrighty. Let's try and maintain ourselves, folks. Vanderker, you're way up there.
All that whining made me think I was talking to a helicopter pilot.
Okay, we're gonna we're going to switch our group's positions. If you're a group 1, move to the back.
Does that mean we get behind you?
No, I'm actually moving around the group, so if you're in group 2, go ahead and just make your way to the front of the pack. Group 1 means just try and be more than 20 people behind the leader.
Of course, you tell that to the fat kids while we're on the hill.
Hey, you know, you got to do this while moving. That's how it works in real life. So that looks very good right now. I'm actually looking at the over top view. You guys are doing a good job with that. Nice.
Kind of like turning a sock inside out.
Yes.
Hey.
Okay, Visacha, you guys need to go to the back. All right. Let's hold it here at nice steady 2.0 at the very front. All right. So again, we're starting to see little gaps form as people try to feel their place in the group. So you have to be very attentive. If you fail to pay attention to your surroundings, all of a sudden you'll notice yourself either up at the front, off the front, or sliding too far back. And the hard part about this is you're going to see when you sit up, you don't necessarily lose it right away. As we saw earlier, when you're in the middle of the pack, you can sit nice and easy. Like I'm doing 1.4 right now, sitting on the leaders, and they're doing 2.0. However, if you drift, if you let your mind drift, all of a sudden your 1.4 has slid you to the back, and now you're yo-yoing. That means you have to put in a big effort to stay on. And that's, again, you're burning matches or you're expending energy that you're going to need later in the group. Now this is an awesome view right now, if you were able to watch it from the back. We've got a really tight group up front. And we have a small gap, but a very tight group behind that. So that small gap, you guys are echeloned a little bit. Let's go ahead and bring it a little bit tighter in. Pete, thanks for watching. Got one of our good friends from Zwift Fitness. He's got a bunch of good rides.
Just experienced that concentration. Quick conversation with my wife, and I went right almost off the bat.
Yes, that's why I banished it downstairs while I'm riding.
It's known as a white flat.
Exactly. People have white flats, kid flats all the time. All right, so Backel is up here with us. He needs to be in Crawford. Oops. Tom Brady should be practicing football, but he's up here too. Seth Hudgens starting to creep up, as well as Jernigan and Farron. Remember, Frank's last name starts with an S. Solti's last name starts with an S, so you need to not be near him. All right, that looks good. We're going to hold this until 27.
I fell off the back of the group and overshot all the way to the front.
Yeah, so that happens, and that's a very good point. And we're going to work on that a little bit later about catching back on. Because what we're going to do is I will go move to the front and kind of ramp the pace up a little bit and keep changing the pace forward and back. And if any of the people who are designated to be in the back overshoot, then they get punished. But as we hit 10 more seconds here, we're going to ease off.
Well,
Alright,
that's great because we've developed a big gap here.
Yeah. Yeah, we've strung out very nice.
It's really interesting watching that gap just form a little bit, and then it gets really big really quickly unless you're really attentive.
Yeah, and that's the thing that people don't really pay attention to, and one of the reasons I also see people just go and sit at the front, because they're not paying, they don't want to have to concentrate on that. Pete's sick. He said he would have joined us, except for I made him sick, which I must have sent the virus through the internet to Perth.
I love that town. Perth is an awesome city.
Yeah? Don't know it. Wish I did.
San Diego's climate, nicer people.
Oh, nice. All right, so on this next one, again, if you're in the front group and you pass me, no big deal. Just slide back. Just try and stay near me as close as possible. Practice trying to keep me on the front. If you're in the back group, though, whomever we put at the back, and you pass us, then you're getting punished. And the punishment is our same punishment as normal. You have to stop pedaling, unclip a foot, set it down on the floor, put back in, and catch back onto the group. If you are up at the very front, ease to 1.0 until you are caught by the beacon. I do not want to have to get out of the saddle and sprint to chase people down to slow them down. All right, so we're going to start with group 1 on the front and group 2 on the back.
Wait, everybody behind you or just group 2?
Everybody needs to be behind me, but group 2 can't get in front of me. All right, Graham, you guys are slightly ahead of us, so you're doing good with that 1.0. So right now, punishment is for group 2.
Right there you are.
Yeah, no worries. You guys are just slightly in front of us. Again, I'm going to change up the pace between 1.5 and 2.5. It won't be completely steady. That's going to kind of accordion us a little bit. But we're not going to be going too hard. All right, very nice. So Ardina, Backelman, you guys need to slow down. Lungu, you guys as well. Alrighty. All right. Well, the good thing about Pete Donahue being sick is that Pete gets to stay on with us much longer. Normally he has to go to work at this point. All right, we're gonna spend some time here. Now, when I tell you guys to switch, we're gonna do it on the fly, so it's gonna be even harder. And I'm going by the list, so if you pass me on the list, you passed me. So now if you're group one, again, you're not going to be punished for it right now, but you want to try and prevent that from happening. You want to be as close to me as possible without going over. Like Romu right now is pushing it. Same with Sageman. Alright, very nice. You guys caught my easing up as we're going into it. Vanderker, first victim, Sageman. Alright, good. Marero's okay. He's an M. Romu's getting close. He is right on my wheel. Alright. Remember, watch as we go into terrain, folks. Watch as we go into terrain. Graham, you're getting close there, buddy. Thanks to Steve and Hans. Hope everyone's enjoying the show. Ooh, people are going all over the place, not paying attention to the terrain. Vanderker again.
I think penalties need to be assessed.
Yeah. So we go back to, remember, that's important, is really paying attention to what's going on around you. It's not just where you are in the peloton. It's where you are on the course, too. As we hit these different terrain features, Piero's got to go. Piero, penalty for you. Romu, same for you. You really want to... I'm not really sure what that guy was doing. Not sure why Lungo's going hard, but okay. All right, Ordina's penalty. All right, we're gonna start switching up. Pete said amazing the skills he picks up while watching. Okay, switch it up. G1 to the back. G2 to the front. I'm gonna stay right here. We're gonna be doing this at speed, folks. All right, if you're a G1 and you pass me now, you'll be penalized. Marrero, you gotta roll back. All right, Carpenter's living dangerously. I'd like to see that. It looks like we have a 4-man breakaway from a class up the road. All right, what do we got coming up, folks? We got little risers, right? So let's try and hold our efforts. Or Lungo, you can accelerate. Again, I'm not sure what you're doing, bud. All right, looking good. We're a little strung out, folks. Let's go ahead and try and tighten it up a little bit. Remember, if you're in group 2, you can pass me. It's just you got to back off once you pass me. All right, we got some folks hitting 5. Trinard is 1. Sap, you want to ease off? All right, we're gonna do this for about another 2 minutes, and we're gonna go into a little bit of attacking, since there's some folks that really want to attack. All right, well, we're gonna let Lungo and Sap go. Don't worry about them. All right, folks, again, we just hit a little rise. Man, Trinard got another one. Brady gets a penalty. All right, good. Graham, you guys are doing good. I like where you're sitting. You're holding a great position. That's very nice. O'Keefe, thanks to the right on.
It's actually a really good lesson in energy management because you can't rely on flying up and jamming the brakes and wasting all that energy.
Exactly, and that's one of the things we noticed during our Zwift races. One of the guys for ODZ, Justin Wagner, is almost always 0.5 watts a kilo less than the leaders, except he wins the race because of energy management. All right, we're gonna go ahead and ease off to 1.5 to regroup. Then we'll start some attacks. Nice and easy, everyone. What's that?
Sounds good.
Yeah, so we're gonna have a little bit of fun with our attacks, but we want to get everyone back on who wants to play. And one of the things that we're gonna do with our attacking is we're gonna just practice some attacks. I'm gonna hold 2 to 2.5 the whole time. Now the idea will be you guys can attack off the front as often, as many times you want, as hard as you want, for 5 seconds, then you just gotta sit up and get back in the group. The kicker is you can't attack from the same spot every time. So you can't attack from the front until you've attacked from the back or the middle. And the reason for this is I really want you to see what it's like when you try to attack from positions that aren't tactically advantageous. Does that make sense?
Yep.
All right, so 5 seconds, as hard as you want, from as often as you want. The only catch is you can't attack from the same spot until you've got the other 2 spots in the peloton. So let me go ahead and put this out, and then I'll move to the front and we'll get at it.
Is that hammering 5 seconds once you're off the front, or just 5 seconds
Nope,
total?
5 seconds. So if you attack from the back, you may not get to the front. In fact, I'll give you 10 seconds if you start from the back. Other than that, 5 seconds. Alrighty, let me catch back on with this group.
People are already attacking at the front.
Stop attacking! Alright, when I'm at the front, we'll start. The reason I'm not near the front is because I was dropping back and helping some folks. Alright. Hey, we got a pretty good group of listeners today. I'm pretty impressed with that. Alright, I am almost to the front. Now, you don't have to attack if you don't want to. If you just want to ride and watch what others are doing, that's fine. I'm going to hold steady between 2 and 2.5. After you attack, make sure you drop back to me. All right, looking good. Nice, VZ. Remember, 5 seconds if you're starting from the front of the back. 10 seconds if you're starting in the, or excuse me, 5 seconds front or middle, 10 seconds from the back. Part of this is I really want you to see what it takes to get out of the bunch if you're not in that front third.
Yeah, front third's really easy.
Yeah, middle's kind of tough. The back is really, really tough. Good job, Piero. Again, I'm just holding that 2 to 2.5. It is not a requirement for anyone to attack. Feel free just to hold on to me if you want. All right, good. We got about 5 more minutes here. I really want you guys to give it some gas when you attack too. I also want you to see what does it feel like after putting in that 5-second max effort. How quickly can you recover? Do you need a while? So Trino just he tried to attack from the middle and didn't get 5 seconds. 5 seconds he didn't catch up and go, and had to sit back up. I like that. All right, you guys are doing great. Nice sprint there, Peterman. Go ahead.
Yeah, from dead back, 10 seconds doesn't do it.
You have to count really slow.
Yeah,
From the back, I just made it to the beacon from the back, just barely.
And the good thing is that you're getting to see, this isn't a very compact bunch right now. So you're not even having to fight through the sticky draft.
Yeah, conversely, you're not getting any slingshot either.
Well, that's true too. Sometimes I would argue that sticky draft kills any slingshot you get. All right, you guys are doing great. So I'm really liking, some of you guys are really testing out where it is. And you're really testing out that hard effort. 14 watts a kilo right there from Jernigan. That's great.
What's the sticky draft? Did I just not catch that?
Yeah, so that's actually a Zwiftism. And we'll talk more Zwiftisms during our cooldown. But Zwiftism is sometimes you can actually get stuck behind a rider who's going slower than you. So we call it the sticky draft. Sometimes it benefits you because he's a stronger rider and you can do 1.0 and to their 4.0 and stay. But most of the time, the sticky draft actually hinders you. And it gets you stuck behind their draft when you don't want to be.
Sounds like a bug.
It is, but they've tried to fix it. And it's one of those not easy to fix problems because you're working with physics.
Consider it a warp bubble.
That's right. It's kind of like the sticky bottle.
If they didn't have the sticky draft, I think even in a group you would constantly pop in and out of the draft under normal riding.
Yes, you would. But you wouldn't get held up by a slower rider, and you wouldn't get towed by a rider way, way faster than you.
All right, so it's not perfect.
Yeah, but it's still good. I mean, I'm okay with it. It's a bug that you got to know is there, and it's not all the time.
10-second sprint from the back burnt a bunch of matches for me.
Yeah, so what I want you guys to do now is I'm going to keep the pace up a little bit, closer to 2.5. When you do your attacks, go as hard and as long as you need to clear the bunch. And then drift back to me, because especially now some folks are back with me, we're at the back of the bunch. And it is a very, very challenging thing to have to overcome. You can see that long line in front of us. Fortunately, I'm getting to ride nice 2.5. Almost there, folks. About 25 more seconds. Give it a couple more digs. Especially if you're in the back with me. Nice, person. Woo! 12-0. Sap trying to come up, close that gap and sprint. Not able to. There you go. Just able to get by. All right. So go ahead and ease it up to a soft spin. We don't have to necessarily worry about staying together right now. I want everyone to spin their legs at whatever is a very comfortable cool down pace for them. I'm going to type a couple things out, then I'll give you guys a rundown. All right, so to give you guys a quick recap, this is something you guys get on Discord that they're not going to get because I'm not going to type it all out. We'll be here for another hour. We went over a couple things today. First and most important was we covered positioning. As you guys probably noticed on there, positioning is very, very important. If you're not holding the right position, it's very difficult to attack. And it's very easy to get slung out the back, especially when you come onto terrain. Did anybody notice that just even sitting in the middle sometimes became a challenge as we started hitting the terrain?
Well, the terrain also added the panic attack of the salmon on the falls.
Yeah, and that's common, especially if you're new to racing. That's not much different than what you get as a Cat 5 in a regular outdoor race. But we definitely see a lot more of that in the C's, and we still see some in the B's on the races. The A's tend to be a little bit more consistent, but they're generally going pretty hard anyways. So they're cheap with their matches. But the other part of that too, that positioning is that conservation of energy, and we talked about that just now. But really understanding where you can hold your position in the group, whether it's a group of 5 or a group of 30. You want to be in a position where you're not tactically disadvantaged, but you're able to go ahead and rest and recover as much as possible. And that's very important as the races go longer, or if they're really high intensity races. So after we covered a position, which we did for a while, and the reason we did that punishment was to just kind of give some negative reinforcement for those who were failing to adhere to the rules, we did a little bit of attacking. And the reason I threw some attacking at the end there was to really build on what we just were practicing and really emphasize the importance of being in the right position. Now, you guys noticed if you went too hard for too long, you burned a bunch of matches. And that's the important key to know is if you're going to have to attack from the back or the middle, how do you do it? Do you really start sprinting from the back? No, because by the time you get off the front, you're shelled already. And then you can't get that gap and then consolidate your gap. So what you have to look at doing is make your way through the bunch quickly and then hit the gas. And that's a very difficult thing to do because it generally lets people know you're probably going to attack or something's going on. So it's not going to be very much of a sneak attack if you do that. But that's really the best way to do it if you're not at the front. The best place to be is that front third, and then you go when you need to go, and you hit that gas trying to get that small gap, and you consolidate it with one or two other people that go with you. So are there any questions on what we went over today?
Not what we went over today, but if you're in a race, do you get the group riders nearby on the side?
Yeah, so the group riders nearby will be the ones that are around you or in front or behind. Usually that list is going to be no more than 20 though. The other cool thing though is you do now get in races up at the top where it says group riders nearby. To the left of where it says group, you'll get what position you are in the race. You know, first, second, 25th, 85th, whatever. Anybody have anything else?
Actually, you know, that would kind of be helpful if we were doing this kind of ride again in the future where you needed to know how many riders were in front of you. If it was designated as a race, we would get that indicator. Is there a downside to doing that?
The only problem with designating as a race is people think it's a race.
Good point.
So yeah, I'll talk to Alan to see if it's possible to do that in an event or if that's only a race feature.
I did a social ride just a couple days ago, and it was designated as a race, and there was no problem keeping it together.
Okay, yeah, I'll talk to Alan and have him switch it up. That shouldn't be an issue. We've had some flyers like to come into this and bolt off the front, but again, we just mercilessly heckle them until they come back, or we leave them be. All right, well, if you guys have other rides you want to look at during the week, we do have a number of other options out there through ODZ. I can highly recommend the What's Up with Power ride on Wednesdays, so you missed that one already today. But Jason Flores will do on Friday in the feed zone. That's a great ride that talks about nutrition. So if you're curious about post or pre-race nutrition or during race nutrition, Jason covers quite a bit. You can find that on Zwift Live by ODZ on Facebook as well if you want to see the older videos. Mondays, Thea Friestedt also does the Chat and Chill ride, which is real good. This week she had Leah Thorvaldsen on there. Leah Thorvaldsen, the last year's Zwift Academy winner, who just secured a second-year contract for Canyon SRAM Racing. So it's a pretty good interview that she did with her. It's a pretty chill ride, real easy. It's a recovery ride where she goes over quite a bit of things. Sometimes talks to coaches, sometimes talks to other riders, sometimes talks to pros. We're looking at trying to get GCN on with her. So that'd be an interesting, fun one to sit in on, or at least watch Facebook when you're not, watch on Zwift Live by ODZ on Facebook if you're not doing your work. And I won't tell if you do that. But that's going to be it for us today. I appreciate you guys joining in. If you guys have any questions, hit me up on the TeamODZ page on Facebook, or even through the link on this one on Facebook, or if you guys happen to know other ways to contact me, feel free. I'm always available to answer questions. So if no one else has anything else, I'm going to sign off here.
Thanks, Coach. Awesome ride.
Yeah, thanks a bunch.